Hey, it's Luke with Auto Darts. Every once in a while, I get sent something that just makes me smile, and this is one of those moments. Let's get going. This is a Lame Boy, and a Lame Boy is actually a dart blaster. Now, I am in my late 30s, and obviously I grew up when Game Boy was absolutely king. I own the original Game Boy. I got it as a combination Christmas, birthday, and some extra chore money that I had saved up as a kid. And I remember going to Toys R Us. We never got to go to Toys R Us that often. It was very rare. And we picked that out and brought it home. And we played a lot of Game Boy over the years. Consoles didn't come out as quickly when I was a kid. So Game Boy, I must have had it 8 years before getting the Mini and then the Color later on. But anyway, I'm a huge Game Boy fan. I love the classic games. I think Link's Awakening, Nailin' Scalin', obviously Super Mario. There's a lot of really, really good Game Boy original games. This really neat little innovative blaster was sent over to me by Paul of BoBo Innovations. We're gonna have all of his information, including his Etsy shop, his Cults 3D listing, and his Facebook page, which has a discussion group if you have any questions about the products. We'll put that all down below. Do check him out because I think this is a really, really fun product. This is a dart blaster. It has cartridges and it has little games that fire your individual cartridges. This one is the Out of Darts game. I'm gonna say that the Out of Darts game only shoots short darts. So we're gonna put short darts in there. The cartridges themselves pretty much seem like they're perfectly designed to hold a short dart. Paul did send over little quarter darts, or maybe I'd call this a third dart. I don't know, does anybody have a name for this? It's kind of half of a half dart. Maybe it's a quarter dart, we'll call it that. So you can load up 4 quarter darts and toss that into the Lame Boy. Lame Boy. When he emailed me saying, I'm gonna send you a Lame Boy, I was like, that sounds lame, but okay. So here's a double fire. And they work quite well. It's got all the nostalgic features, including the speaker holes, the start select buttons, and of course your screen itself. We've got nice details on the side, including the volume knob and the brightness, or rather contrast, I believe it was in the original. I had a ton of different accessories for this growing up, including a nice clip-on light which illuminated the screen. Yes, if you haven't played with one of these, anybody younger that's watching, this did not have a backlit screen. It was the bane of any kid's existence because you essentially had to have an external battery powering another light to do this. And I remember even like holding a flashlight in my mouth playing it because prior to that I didn't have the thing. You know, you're trying to play in the dark in the car. Anyway, let's keep going. In the back, there's a little detent press here that you pull to actually prime. You return that to its position, and we've got your protruding priming bars there. You just insert your cartridge, which has a seemingly pretty good air seal, just friction fit down at the bottom there with a little piece of rubber or plastic, and load up your blaster and fire. Now, we've got some other fun features. The front plate itself is replaceable, and Paul sent 3 different versions. He sent a kind of standard, just a screen, so it's just like your screen's kind of off. He's also got a little Mario scene, which has a nice little surprise that Perry had to point out to me, which is that if you pull down the flag, you get a reticle here, so you can actually have a little sight, which is really, really clever. This blaster also seems to function quite well. We'll actually put the FPS up on the screen, why not? I mean, it's definitely not a performance blaster, but I'm gonna have some fun playing with this in some sort of either offals or stock round, because who wouldn't let this be a stock blaster? The Lame Boy blaster definitely reminds me of another project, a video I did about 3 years ago, which was a Kickstarter, and it was an Undercover blaster, and it was a blaster for a very specific game type called Jericho that they play in San Francisco, and it's played out on the streets and stuff. You know, walking up with a thing that sort of looks like a phone and shooting a foam dart is a little more discreet. And so this is a very similar because it has the 2 barrels, but there's a lot more innovation that's been put in here with the swappable cartridges, the front, and then the overall nostalgia and styling. In addition to the blaster itself, which is super cool, he also sent Bowser, a Goomba, and Princess Peach. So you've got little targets. I'll show some footage here of actually knocking these over. That's pretty cool. And then even more clever, he came up with 2 other fun targets. This one is an exploding block. So this is 4 pieces, and you set it up and then you hit it and it's just gonna shatter into 4 actual pieces, which is really, really neat. And then my absolute favorite is this little question mark box. And now these are always the pickups, of course, but this one you fire and it shoots a coin out of the top just like in the game. So check this out. I love it. He's got a little clever little just simple detent and a spring-loaded thing here, and a little 3D printed coin, and out the top, boom. That made me smile a lot the first time I realized that's what it did. But Paul, you made a really cool design out of here. This gets a 5 out of 5. I couldn't give it anything but. It's a really clever use of 3D printing. The design is really interesting. I love how everything is sandwiched together. I love how we've got these replaceable plates. We've got a Picatinny option if you want to really get serious and put your get a sight up here, or maybe a scope. Scope would be really effective, I think. But overall, I think this is just a really fun, clever use of 3D printing. And it is clear to me that a lot of love, effort, and time went into putting this together. And I just love seeing that. I think it's great nostalgia and just a really fun project. So I'll be curious to see what Paul does next on future projects and what he comes up with, because this was definitely a fun one for me. This is obviously a very non-standard review, since it's a very unique niche product and really just a play on nostalgia and a lot of fun. I did get this sent for free, so keep that in mind with all of my feedback, but I love seeing projects like this. If you or someone you know has a project you'd like to see on this channel, we are accepting submissions for things that we might be interested in doing a spotlight or a review. Just look for our contact info, email us directly down below. And thank you, Paul, for sending this to me. I think this is super cool, and it's definitely going to be up on my wall because I think it's just a really fun blaster and fun product. Until next time, I'm out of darts.